Welcome to
What a block!
Triple Blockheads,
Back set, block down.
the podcast for all things volleyball.
Aloha and welcome to another episode of Triple Blockheads. Makani here with Marc and Frank. We are going to do this episode, and less is more. That's going to be the moral of this. Less is more. We're going to talk about skills, training, technique, and we're really going to try to hold it to like a 3-word kind of burst. Something that I think that athletes, parents, coaches, easy to remember. I also think that this is really going to be interesting because as a coach myself, I always use really short words in match. And I think these are some things that I think the coaches out there can really bring into a match to say, hey, I can deliver information what I want my players to do or remember or to execute upon without having to give them a novel, right? This is going to be really, really to the point. So what are some of the kind of 3-word skill descriptions or technical tips on, let's start with serving. What do you like cues on serving?
So I have a couple different ones, and I approach this concept kind of as like if I was beginning or I was teaching somebody initially what skills or components of the serve I think are really important to be good at. And then as we progress, I came up with another 3 words to talk about how to be effective, I guess, once we've mastered the initial skill of serving the ball. Mm-hmm. So I'll start from the beginning intro. If I want to teach this skill, 3 words that I like are lift, lead, and finish. Okay. We've talked before on this podcast about using the word lift instead of toss. Mm-hmm. When we think toss is big, especially with the younger kids. If we can minimize, right, the amount of variability, it's going to be more repeatable. So can we lift this ball? And hopefully that leads to a little bit lower, more compact, more repeatable toss. Okay, so I like lift to start. Lead gets them thinking about throwing that ball or lifting that ball forward in front of them rather than up or behind, which is another thing we see with young kids is they chuck it high, it's on top of their head, and they think they have to hit up into the ceiling or we miss contact, those types of balls. So lift, lead, and then my third one I think is super, super important for young kids, and that's finish, and that's finishing your serve. I am not a proponent of hit and stop. Mechanically, what it does for your shoulder is not fantastic. Being able to still be accelerating your arm through contact is really, really important to creating that float that we're looking for. So if I go and try and stop, a lot of times I'll be decelerating into my contact, and it's going to lead to a lot of inconsistent depth change, which when we're trying to master a skill, I want to know what force it's going to take to make the ball go a certain distance. So I think those 3 are probably the things I would start with a kid. Obviously, I didn't talk about hand contact at all. That would be a whole other thing. But when we're young, I need the toss to be good, and I need it to be in a good location, and I need to just go for it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what these 3 are leading into.
Yeah. What about you from a beginner standpoint?
Yeah, if I'm talking to a beginner, I think some of this could be used for older kids too, is walk, and stealing also Marc's lift, walk, lift, flat. Yeah. And let them try and figure out how to create flatness when they're starting. But using that word flat, I think they know what flat would look like, and they've seen it before if they've seen volleyball. So, and I put walk in there in the beginning because most young club kids aren't jump floating right away. They're standing and serving. So walking is a great introduction into how to jump float. So, and that's usually what you're doing anyways in your first couple steps is you're walking your first couple steps. So walk, lift, flat. And I think that's a good place to start from. And probably with the older kids too, because a lot of them are still tossing the ball super high. So that lift is still pretty good for them.
Yeah, I like that a lot too.
I like the walk. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I do too. And I think just a preface of this is I think these words have so much more meaning when you use them in training, and then it translates, right? Because we say lift, there's so many things that go into lift, but I think as an athlete, if you hear it enough times, these 1 word or 3 word cues really mean way more to them. I think that's kind of the point here. From a beginning standpoint, from a server, I like breathe, lift, contact. Because I think so often, especially younger kids, they get the ball, whatever, they do their spin, hit 3 times, whatever it is, and then they're just gone. And I like to just say, all right, let's take a breath here. Let's settle, balance, breathe, and then again lift. And then especially at the younger age, I'm not sure. I don't really care how you have to contact the ball. Just you have to hit it, and you have to hit it with good contact.
Yeah.
What about as you move into more advanced cues in serving?
I love that we all have the toss as like the most important part of this, right? If you're starting off, that toss is the first thing that will lead you to success. Love that we were all consistent through that. As we get older, these go probably a little bit more. They would have to be defined through training, as Makani said, but I have clean, window, and weapon. Those are my 3 words, and I talk a lot about these, right? Clean contact, making that ball float, so we're looking for no spin. Window, which is kind of to Frank's flat. I want to go between the top of the antenna and the top of the net. We call that the window. So every ball, if I want to keep increasing my miles per hour and keep serving faster and faster, if it gets out of that window, it goes out of bounds. So can I live in that window? So we preach that a lot. And then the third one, weapon, is your approach to serving, right? Your serve is a weapon. It's your weapon. It's unique to you. You are in complete control of it. So treat it like a weapon. It's not something that you have to do to play the rest of the game. It's your first opportunity to solely score a point all by yourself. So value the importance of your serve and spend time on your craft and get good with your weapon.
Yeah, the only thing I changed about mine with an older kid was being more particular about where you're serving the ball to. So if I changed anything about what I had from walk, lift, flat, I changed it to slow, line, fast. So still starting slow, making sure you're on the right line, going towards where the direction of the ball wants to go, and then being fast at the end and not going fast at first, which might disrupt your line, and then you end up serving the ball into someone's lap. So slow, line, fast would be my feedback to an older kid, just about being more accurate with where we're trying to put the ball up.
Mine is very, very similar. It's a balance, front, and attack. Like I like the weapon part of it. Like you have to that last thing in your mind has to be like, I'm using this as first offensive touch, and I like that a lot. I think as we get older and you start doing more complex serving, whether it's jump serving or jump tops or things, balance is a lot of where I see bad arms. And they get down on the ground and they're doing the whole arm thing. I'm like, it's not your arm. You're completely off balance, and you're off balance. So you can't attack the ball. It's your window for your lift is so small if you're not balanced. Yeah. So you're really putting yourself at a really disadvantage to make a successful serve and a successful attack if you're not balanced first.
I like that.
Those are all good.
Yeah. Franks, I feel like you're like spot on. I'm more broad strokes, like concepts, and you're like, no, slow, get in the line, and then go fast.
I love it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, of course.
I'm definitely trying to hit more of the feels. Like, here's what you should feel, I think. Like, if I were in your shoes, here's what I would feel.
Spoken like a true club coach.
That's good.
That's the thing, right? Like, I'm trying to, and I'm also a big like comparison person. Like, hey, you're gonna feel like this, like you do in basketball. You're gonna feel like this, you do in your front row. Or I try and use that probably, maybe sometimes too much, but that's definitely probably my top 3 coaching strategy. How do I compare it to something else?
So what about setting? What was those words or cues from a setting perspective?
Yeah, this one was fun. So if I was talking to a younger person, I would say passer, ground, attack. Passer, face the passer. I think a lot of young setters come in, they're just facing the outside the whole time. So face the passer, create multiple directions to move, by being at the passer first. That means you can move backwards a little bit easier. You can move towards them a little bit easier. You can move towards along the net a little bit easier. Ground, so just being more grounded, not getting too tall right away, but feeling the ground while you're moving. And then attack, being aggressive with your finish. And I like that word ground to attack, because then they should feel grounded into an attack, using their legs and using their whole body to attack the ball, which with younger kids, they could use a little bit more energy into their finish of their set. And of course, you can get way more technical than this, but this would, I think, allow for technical things to be more consistent.
That's fair. I went very technical, like execution of skill with my 3 words on this one. So I have hands, head, push. So I got to get my hands up, regardless of what they look like, right? Sooner or later, doubles are not going to exist all across the board. So I'm not putting as much stress on great form contact, right? If I'm really young, I got to get my hands up. Where am I going to get my hands? Above my head. And then I'm going to push. I'm going to fully push and extend. I like the ground, even as Frank said, ground to attack. Like I rose up as he said it. Like that's just a natural reaction. So I like that. But I'm going to simplify even more to just hands got to be up. Where do they need to be? Above my head. And then I'm going to push this ball as hard as I can.
Yeah, I love it. And I think we all took a little bit of a different approach, which I think is great.
Yeah.
So the viewers can kind of pick and choose based on what the scenario is. But I went just the act of in a match, you get kind of a beginning setter. You need to find it, beat it, and finish. So find the ball, beat the ball to where you need to be, and then just finish. The core concepts of a setter is to just get a ball that's hittable, especially when you're just starting out. And to do that, I feel like you have to have recognition, and then you have to be able to have some level of proactiveness to get to where the ball is going to be before the ball gets there. And then we can finish. It's really technical when you get to the finishing part, but just get a ball up there. And as a starting component, I think then you can actually go into your hands, head, push. Right. I think it's how you pair those things up on what you really need to work on in that moment.
I'm pretty close on mine for that. That's my like older development kid is like athlete, right? Be an athlete. Look, go get that ball. Be an athlete. Use your athletic ability. Then hittable, right? Which you just mentioned, but that's putting in a spot that we can attack every ball. Like if you want to be a great setter, you need to put up hittable balls. And then my third is reflect. I think that's an important concept. Setters don't just get to move on to that next play. There has to be an awareness of what your block did, what were they able to get a swing on that ball, what did you create? Was there a seam? Did I get a split? Did I create a one-on-one? Right? You need to think about these things afterwards, especially on terminal plays. Like if the play continues, I don't know if you get a ton of information because there's more stuff coming at you, but if we set into an air or a block or they get a kill, I need to reflect on why any of those.
Love that. Older setter, I have passer still. And I think with an older kid, you're facing the passer, not just for great opportunities for a good first step, but also seeing if you can pick up something from your passer. Can you read an angle early? Can you tell that they're reaching deep? And that is going to probably, maybe you're going to miss a little more often with that pass. So still seeing the first contact. I have outside as my second word, and then I have got him as my third word. So passer, outside, meaning try to be neutral, face the outside, make it look like you're always going to set outside. And then got him, just like the swagger of an elite setter. Like I control the match. You cannot scout me. I'm going to always look like I'm setting outside, and then I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you in a one-on-one with the Bic, like our previous episode. I'm going to get you with the slide. I'm going to get you. I'm going to control the match because of what I'm doing with my decision-making, because I've hopefully already mastered some of the technicalities.
So do you encourage your setters to say, got him?
Oh, that'd be so swaggy. You can't scout me. If I don't know what I'm doing, you don't know what I'm doing either.
When they juke the middle, they just turn over, got him.
But that's that's great, right? Because that is, you're empowering them to like have those reflection moments. Like that's going to happen naturally when you like process the game to them, allow them to think of the game as you're the quarterback. You're the one that's going to influence this next point. You have the most influence on this next point.
Yeah, I love that. The aggressive part of it at the end, I think, is that's what distinguishes setters that are great setters and just average setters, right? My 3 for an advanced setter is feet, rhythm, and aggressive. I think as you get to that next level, every setter has their own rhythm, how they get to the ball, how that internal timer that they have to understand when I need to jump, when I go to the ball, what my body feels like. And I'm a big rhythm coach when it comes to setting. Is when you have balls that are inconsistent, it always comes down to some level in your mechanics that's out of whack. And I think rhythm is the word that I always come back to, because I think it resonates with most players, saying, oh yeah, that felt different. All right, it felt different, you're out of rhythm.
And for repeatability to that point, right? Rhythm is something, if you do it consistently, you're going to consistently produce the same result. So I think that's an important one.
Yeah. And then aggressive at the end. So way too much do we see setters that are trying to be finesse. And I don't think of setting as a finesse skill set. I think it's as an aggressive skill set, right? You are the one that is going to move that ball. The ball doesn't you don't place the ball somewhere. You move that where you want it to be. Yes, it is, to most see it's beautiful. It's the one skill that feels like more finessey. But as a setter, you need to have an aggressive mindset that is, I'm going and getting this ball. I'm not waiting for the ball to get to me. Yeah. I am going to go get it, and I'm going to put it where I want it. I'm not just going to place it there. Those are two different types of philosophies in really coaching setting. So.
I love that. I love the rhythm piece, because like you said, it is so unique to each person. And as a coach, I think you want to be careful coaching some of that. Like if their rhythm allows them to be aggressive in the finish, I don't know that you can really teach rhythm that much, I mean, I don't know what you guys' thoughts are on that, but if I see a kid that has a certain rhythm, I'm not really messing with that too much. I'm just trying to like position their rhythm for it to make sense so that they can finish the way that we would want them to finish.
I'm a big, if it's not broke, don't fix it type of coach. But I think it's important, if they don't really have a rhythm or a footwork pattern or how they get into their ball, I think it's important for them to figure one out, whatever it is.
Baseline fundamentals, I think, to your point, right? Like how can I make sure that I can stop most efficiently and most effectively? But after that, your rhythm on how you get set and how you get to the ball, I think those are unique to you. And through our careers, you could probably pick setters out, and you're like, oh, that was not how I would want them to look in that skill set, but it works for them, right? Yeah. Whether I had a kid that closed super, super late, but it was always on target, and she always got square, but it was way too late for my liking. But why change that rhythm? Because you change that rhythm, they become erratic, right? It's in muscle memory, especially when you get to our level, and collegiately. It's hard to fix. You can't fix their rhythm, that part of it, right? It just takes too long.
Right. It's too ingrained, right? They've got their 10,000 reps in, rewriting those patterns, those neural patterns are super, super hard. So
what I loved about all of our beginning kid words, though, was that like if those are the words you stress with young ones, they're gonna develop their own rhythm from that. That'll be theirs.
What about passing work? What are the kind of the beginning technique words for passing?
Yep, mine feet, right? I think can we move? Can we track? I think taking your feet to that ball important, and also just what your feet are doing. Are they opening up? Right? Are they allowing you to create angles? That's an important one. Then I have angle, and then calm. So I think a lot of work, and the angle and calm pretty much work simultaneously together. Can I set my angle so that my arms don't have to do very much? And can I stay calm through that contact versus big violent swings or just a lot of movement? I think I would rather pass lower at a younger age, setting good platforms and setting good angles, than like swinging on easy stuff to get that ball high enough to get where we need to. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, do you want success now, or do you want to be a great passer later when things get really hard and fast? So I think those are probably my 3 to start.
Mine's way different for passing.
Love it.
But I'm also thinking like digging too a little bit, but for young kids for passing, I had jump, stop, go. And not for jump, I have it based on what you see. So when a hitter jumps or when a server jumps. So jump, you stop, and then you go.
Yeah. The go part is really important. Like, you gotta go.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, you could be really good at that first two and still a terrible passer.
But I think the jump part, like getting them to see that, right? Like making sure their eyes are the first thing that happens, and then syncing up your move based on what you see. So jump, you stop, and then you go.
Yeah, I like that. Mine, I had the same second word as you, angle, but my first is balance. It's kind of probably a theme of mine. I just think that athletes need to be balanced to execute literally every single skill. So if you're starting there, start at balance. Angle, setting in that angle early, and then I use the word freeze. And I think at an early age, if you can have platforms that are quiet, that's going to be my one in the future, but like quiet, frozen platforms, I think, are more predictable. You also allow a little more change, and you have it gives you more. Swingers, I think, you have so much room for error, right? Any little movement in your platform, especially as the ball gets faster and faster and faster, creates infinitely more, errors that you can have off. The range of that ball coming off is going to be much more unpredictable. But freezing that platform at a young age, I think, is really important.
Yep. As we progress and get better, I think three things we talk about a lot. First one is space. Can I create space away from my body, right? As that ball gets faster and faster, if we're getting tight, those angles are not going to be conducive to staying in system. We're going to send some overballs or overpasses. We're going to shank some stuff. So can I have some space between my body and where my platform is setting up? I think that one's really important. And then smooth and fight. So smooth refers to just like we're not bouncing as we're moving. It's not a lot of up, down. Can I just stay smooth in the way that I flow to where that ball's going? And then fight is through contact, right? I'm not just picking a spot and stopping, right? At our level, that ball's going to continue to move, potentially drift away from you or down. Can I keep fighting all the way through that contact, all the way past contact and into a finish type of situation, right? Because there's some serves that are coming 44, 45 miles an hour, and we got to just fight to get our platform behind that ball to create an angle where it is just a good pass, not necessarily a perfect pass.
Yeah, I love it.
For older kids passing, I got line, side, and reflect. Different reflect than what Marc had earlier. But line, face the server, like create a line between you and the server. Hold that line if we can. Side, what side would you ideally like to play this ball on if you're a passer? So not, allowing them to prepare an angle early. And then reflect in terms of, can you reflect your arms, your angle a certain way so the ball reflects off of you towards your target?
I never thought about it as a reflect as a word, but that makes sense.
Or like mirror.
Yeah. From a visual perspective, yeah.
I tried that once with a younger team. I had a light and a
That's cool.
mirror, and can you get you want it to reflect to this point on the court? That's a good angle.
Oh, that's interesting.
It went over their heads, but I was like, this makes perfect sense to me. Like, what are we not getting about it? You know what I mean? So,
That is super cool.
Yeah, I love
that idea.
My three are visualize, exaggerate, and quiet. Visualize, I think good elite passers can see the ball where it needs to be before it's there. And I think that level of anticipation and visualizing, all right, this is where that, and I'm really more from a server seat perspective is, hey, that server's coming this way. This is the way that they've attacked me before. Here's the way the ball moves. I see it already going into my seam, and I can visualize all that happening. That kind of brings my whole body into my brain's already there. Now my body can go follow what my brain already knows. Exaggerate. I think the biggest cue from a passer is that ball, I'm not exaggerating my platform angle enough. And it's shallow, therefore the ball is off the net or to my right or to my left. Instead of exaggerating that shoulder drop, making sure I get that ball to target.
Yeah, outside of the body, I think that's a really important one. I see a lot of that is we'll swing out and not create a big enough angle to bring that ball back, and now it's skipping or it's going 15 feet deep. It's like, yeah, exaggerate outside the body. I love that.
Yeah, and then the last one is quiet. Like same, just a different word for freeze, but quiet your platform, quiet your body. Again, I'm a big believer that just every little movement in that pass contact and serve receive is everything. And if you can be quiet and you can freeze that platform, I think the better and more successful you're going to be as a passer.
I dig it.
All right, blocking. Frank, you want to start on this one?
Yeah, blocking for little kids, and I'm thinking like little kids, young. Okay, so just keep that in perspective. I have net, ground, and protect. Net, gotta be on the net. Can't tell you how many little kids I see away from the net, jumping into the net, trying to block. So be on the net. Let's not get hurt. Ground, let's use our legs. Let's feel the ground as we're moving, and then protect. For girls who are just starting to understand blocking, like, the attitude of a blocker is to protect your teammates behind you. So I love what that means as a finishing remark towards a move. Like, go protect your sisters. Go protect your teammates.
I like that for just initial concepts, like just starting, right? Blocking such an abstract thing, and they're not really jumping above the net. But I like all of those as keys. Mine are more technically based, but it's move, jump, press. Right, we got to move somewhere. Right, we're trying to get in front of that hitter, but the map might be too obscure. So can I be moving? Can I jump? But I like the idea ground better, so I would probably flip mine around.
You steal it.
I like your words better.
I stole your reflect.
and then press, which probably still an obscure concept, but we do want to get this idea of like pressing or pushing. Maybe that would be a good word too initially with young kids.
Yeah.
It's like, can I push my hands forward or push towards the net? Just the idea that it's going to have to be in front of your head instead of on top of it.
Yeah.
Mine are, I think I'm the little kids too, where I'm like up top, not really sure. I want to be kind of the foundation of where you want to be first. So spacing, I mean, cheating here. In the way with dashes. In the way.
That's cheating.
That's the pre autocorrect.
Yeah. Yep. And then max jump. I think.
Oh, we're just 6 words?
Yep.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Or just jump, I guess is fine. Jump is fine. All right. But I struggle with the in the way thing. I'm like, all right, what is another word to say in the way? I'm like, but that's
like path maybe?
Path maybe, yeah. But the genesis of that as a younger blocker is you have to be able to figure out how to get in the right spot. And I feel like the right spot in many times is where the ball is, not where the ball is going to be. So this whole concept of getting in the way or being in the path or whatever that might be is starting that early, I think is important.
I completely agree. Like, there's a ton of kids that by the time they get to us are not sure how to line up a block appropriately, and we're spending a lot of time doing that. Yeah, across all levels that I've been at.
Yeah. What about the advanced, older kids?
Older, I'm going power as it regards to your move, right? We talk about speed is power. Speed isn't fast foot turnover. Like, I need to be making powerful moves to be able to still be dynamic and maximize how far we're getting above the net. Line up, right? It was path, but whether I'm a middle working on closing or setting the block as a pin hitter, right, that lineup is really, really important. And then hold. I'd say the other thing is, like, how long can I hold my block position over the net? So whether that's pressing onto a pad and seeing how long I can keep my hands on it, or just feeling like complete body tension from the tips of my fingers down to my toes. Can I lock everything out and hold that feeling as long as I'm in the air? I think you'd be amazed the quality of block touch you get, even if your timing is not fantastic, but your lineup's good and you hold as long as you can.
I love that, because the longer your hold, the more you're protecting behind you. And I think to your point, whether you're early, you're late, or whatever, even if you're small, I think that's even more important when you're small.
Yeah.
Like making sure that you're holding as long as possible to make sure you're taking away as much as possible.
All right, I think with my three words, I can see my team being in the net a lot here, but
We're doing it anyway.
we're gonna roll with it. I kind of like it. Okay,
Reflect back to your first three notes about, about being in the net.
if we're somewhere in the middle, then between those two, we're good. So my older kids blocking, I have plan, save, and then boom. Plan. What's our plan? Who are we blocking? What are we trying to block? Save as in like kind of like load, but like let's save our quickness. Let's save what space we're gonna take. Let's not find ourselves like in club a lot. Older kids, we are just drifting like crazy. So let's not get somewhere and then be explosive and then drift too far away from where we're trying to block. So save and then boom, kind of like just the attitude of finishing, like press, like be violent, like. I thought boom was the right word for it, but obviously boom could be too violent where we're slapping across the net, so I can see that. I can see an older kid just slapping the crap out of a net if I say go boom her or something.
Got him.
Might not be great. Yeah, I already used got him for the setters, so the setters might get confused if I yell got him. Yeah, that's what I'm going. I like plans, probably my favorite one there for the older kids.
Yeah.
Is
Know the scheme.
know the
what we're
scheme.
about to do.
Yeah, what's the goal here?
Mine is move, load, eliminate. Move because so often you're not moving. You have to be able to see it and go. So move first, load. I see a lot of what is the thrust ups? Is that the right where no one's bending their knees and they're just thrusting. They're just thrusting
like
up.
ankle.
Like that's
ankle
not a
jumps.
block. That's not a block. Load and go and jump. So move, load, and then eliminate this. The mentality of I am going to eliminate everything in this path. And that is not going to be an option for that player. And if I have that mentality and I'm executing that skill, that could be pressing, it could be dropping, whatever that might be, getting in the path. But I'm going to eliminate this option.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
Great word.
Yeah.
Might have to get rid of boom or eliminate.
Yeah.
Should turn this into a draft. Just a bunch of words.
The skill word draft 2026 coming up here.
I'm enjoying this because it's like I can see into how you guys coach a little bit differently, and now I feel dumb because all mine are super technical. It's like, how you actually execute the skill? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't actually help in a game. Like, of course we need to pay attention to the scheme. Like, what am I? Yeah, duh. And like, while you were talking, the other thing that popped up, I was like, we didn't talk about eyes at all. Like, the vision piece of blocking is so important for older kids.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, how do you get into the path? Like, that's probably a sub. Anyway, doesn't matter.
That's a lot of dashes.
Yeah. Now it's like 20 words.
All right, last one. Attacking.
Attacking. This is when we do our little kids camp. Run, jump, swing. But I would
I love
like base, like if you're 5 or 6, this is what we're doing. We're running, then we're going to try and jump, and we're going to try and swing.
I love it.
I would put finish in that as well, maybe instead of swing, but just make sure we're finishing that swing all the way through, right? Not stopping our arms, especially at a young age. Let's preserve our shoulders. Let's make sure we're being healthy in the way we're moving.
Mm-hmm.
I have slow, ball, fast. So getting young kids to be a little slower at first, go towards the ball, and then be fast.
Yeah.
So focus more on the rhythm of an approach, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Rhythm towards the ball.
No.
Yeah, I love the simplicity of run, jump, swing. I really do.
That's really good.
I just think it's so simple, and it's exactly what you do. You run, you jump, and you swing.
Yeah.
Mine was run, up, swing. So it's similar to that. Yeah, I just think the whole thing about getting off the ground is it's hard to kind of get them to that point. So I think the faster, like in your 11 U's or in 12 U's, is that get them off the ground and contacting. And I think that'll get you to everything else you need to do later. But
yeah.
And then older kids.
The word I probably use the most is accelerate. right? Single word for saying slow to fast because I don't want to say slow to fast.
That's good. I like that.
Did you accelerate?
Yep.
Were you accelerating through your contact? The next one's open, right? Which when we talk about hitting hard, can I be open? How far can I prep my shoulder back? When we talk about that bow and arrow, right? I got to pull back as far as I can so I have more to unwind through that kinetic energy. So we're accelerating, we're open, and then we finish. And that is not just finishing your swing, but what am I doing with my wrist?
Sure.
Am I thumb up, thumb down? Am I punching high, right? That's ultimately what's going to get you around that block if they line up appropriately.
I love it.
That open is a great word for an offensive player. I didn't really like you say it all the time, stay open, stay open, stay open, but like just saying me using that as a cue I think is really important.
And I think finish could be used in so many ways too.
Oh, yeah, for
like
sure.
finish with your hip, finish with your wrist, finish with your arm. Like you can apply finish to so many important like biomechanical things in an attack.
Yep.
It's really good. I have for an older kid, confirm, smooth, fast. Confirm being probably the most unique one in that like if you're playing a faster offense, like there is some confirmation that the hitter has to own if you're playing in transition. We struggle all the time with hitters just assuming the setter knows that we're gonna still run the template that we talked about without there being any like confirmation while the play's happening. Like, yeah, go, or gap, and I think that that confirm piece allows the setter to really execute what they want to do. And from the setting perspective, that was always the one thing that I would get on my hitters about is like, hey, we had a plan before the pass happened, and then I wasn't sure if you still wanted to go, if you still wanted to run that. So I think that confirmation piece is a lost art sometimes. That
That one definitely feels like a jaded setter.
There's scar tissue there. I can see. I can hear
If
it.
you just tell me you still wanted to run the gap.
I would set them. You get set a lot more if I hear that voice right away.
That's what I preach our middles right now. It's like setters are gonna, if they hear you, they're gonna get you that ball.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to just set to the abyss.
Yeah.
Of nothing, a void.
Exactly
of
right.
No sound.
Yeah. So can you imagine just like that playing against that type of team that is just consistently everyone's asking for the ball numerous times after the ball's up. You know, that's great for a setter to know exactly where everybody's at, that their offense is still running exactly how they were planning on it to run. And then I think that gives a little juice to the hitter. You know, you're vocally involving yourself into your approach like that. I think that gets you going a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it. I was going to use rhythm again, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to say swag, and I'm going to borrow one from a prior episode, swoosh,
Oh yeah.
and explode.
Good callback to episode fill in the blank.
Yes, yes. So swag, I just think that as an attacker, there's got to be some level of like, hey, I'm feeling what the ball is and what my body's doing and my timing, that rhythm. I think that's really important. Find that level of swag to the ball.
I think of swag as like, regardless of where this ball is, I'm gonna go get a kill. You know what I mean? That's like when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, like the best pin hitters have some swag.
Huge
They're like,
swag.
I don't care. Like set me wherever. I'm gonna go crush this thing.
Exactly right. Swoosh. If you didn't have the last episode, go listen to it. But we're talking about just the approach, and it needs to come down, and you need to load, and that's just that mental, that cue of saying, hey, make sure you're getting to the ball, make sure you're loading, and then you're at the end exploding. And that explode is for getting off the ground. That's for exploding through the ball. That's all of the things in that contact. And I think that explosion part of it that's the fun part of volleyball when you're attacking, is just demolishing that ball.
Love it.
These are fun.
This is fun.
Yeah,
This is a great exercise, and I think any coaches, I would recommend this for any coach to do. Like, think about these 5 different parts of the game, and like, I love that we have a beginning and older like versions of each one, and think about like how the beginning is going to influence them as they get older, and then what things are still like consistent amongst the beginning and older kids with each skill set. Some of these things don't really change that much, you know, like the lift and serving is kind of still super
So
important when
important.
they're super old, you know? So I think this is a great exercise.
I wish I would have took better notes. I look forward to actually listening to this one so I can write some stuff down. 'Cause they're like, you guys just think about the game differently than I do. This is pretty fun.
I would love anyone that is listening coach-wise to, like, give us theirs. I think it'd be interesting just to hear other coaches, like, thoughts on all these.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, hit us up and shoot those words to us. And I think the key too is you can leverage this in your gym. Pick whatever words that really mean the most to you, as well as what your team can resonate to. If you're going to use these in a match, then your team should probably know what they mean, other than just the word itself, right? So I think integrate it with your training. Continue. Repetition is everything. That's just not just with muscle memory, but it's also with your mind. And then, as Frank said, send those words. Until then, blockheads.
Blockheads.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Triple Blockheads. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.